I've been wanting to get to Drew Brees and my New Orleans Saints all week this week. There's been so much going on in the NBA that I kind of felt like I needed to get to that, but I've also been waiting to get to Drew Brees because I wanted to see how serious this injury was. A collapsed lung is no joke, and it's pretty hard to play quarterback in the NFL when you have fractured ribs. I was going to wait until there was a firm timeline for Drew Brees' return. I see some reports saying 2 weeks. Some are saying 4 to 6 weeks. Some have it even longer than that. I was going to wait for a firm timeline until I talked about this, but I keep seeing these talking heads on various sports networks talking about how this injury is likely the end of Drew Brees' career. So I felt like I needed to go ahead and address this and tell you guys what I think. Stephen A. Smith went on ESPN the other day, and he said that he felt like this was the end for Drew Brees. Now, he wasn't being malicious or anything like that. He actually made some valid points, talking about how Drew Brees has a wonderful family. He's accomplished everything he can at the NFL level. How it might not be worth the risk at this point to risk the rest of his life to make this injury more serious just to get another Super Bowl ring. Now, I couldn't disagree more with Stephen A. Smith. I have followed the career of Drew Brees very closely since 2006. I've got to keep up with all 32 teams in the NFL because of this channel. But the team that I know better than any other team in the league is the New Orleans Saints, for obvious reasons. I've been a diehard Saints fan since birth. One thing I know for certain about Drew Brees, he is a fierce competitor. I know that he pulled himself out of the game on Sunday against San Francisco. First time that's happened in his 15 years in New Orleans, which tells me that this injury is pretty serious. For Drew Brees to pull himself out of a game, it's got to be serious. But he is not going out like that. I can't see him ending his NFL career, or at least his career in New Orleans. I can't see him ending it on injured reserve. Matter of fact, I am 100% confident that Drew Brees is going to be back on the field this season. Now, why am I so confident? Because I'm going to take his word for it. He tweeted on Tuesday that he's got the best medical team in the country working on him, and then he said he is going to be back in no time. Let me tell you another reason I'm confident that Drew Brees is going to come back. It is likely his last year in the NFL, but it is definitely his last year in New Orleans. We've talked about this several times here on the channel the past couple of months. This is his last chance to get that second Super Bowl ring. He is going to come back. He's not letting that opportunity go to waste. From the reports that I'm seeing, he's going to miss a minimum of 3 games. It could be more than that. The Saints have 7 games left this season, and the schedule's pretty soft to close the year. The only game New Orleans would be a definite underdog without Drew Brees is against the Chiefs on December 20th. The other 6 games, they should be favorites, and they should win with or without him. I believe this could actually be a blessing in disguise for the Saints for 2 reasons. One, what has been one of the main issues for the Saints in the playoffs the last 2 years? Drew Brees has run out of gas. He was terrible back in January against Minnesota. He didn't play well in the NFC Championship game a couple of years ago against the Rams. Now he has the opportunity at the end of the season to recuperate for the next several weeks or however long he's out. He needs to at least return during the regular season to shake off any rust. But that should only take 1 game. Perhaps he returns Christmas Day against Minnesota or the following week against Carolina to close out the season. But the other reason that this is a blessing has nothing to do with Drew Brees. This gives Sean Payton the opportunity to determine who could be his starting quarterback in 2021. He's already stated publicly that they were going to have a competition for the starting job in training camp next summer between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. Now he gets the chance to maybe start that 8 months early. Sean Payton hasn't named a starter for this week yet. Said he would make that decision later this week. Make no mistake about it, though. Jameis Winston needs to be the starting quarterback this season while Drew Brees is out, for a couple of reasons. Taysom Hill is unproven at the quarterback position. He's thrown a total of 18 passes the entire time he's been in New Orleans, which is going on about 3 years. He has had a propensity of turning the ball over, especially this year. His fumble lost the game against Green Bay, which could end up determining who the number 1 seed is going to be in the NFC. He fumbled again Sunday against San Francisco. Now, I know Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill, but the Saints are in the middle of a playoff race. They're in control in the NFC South, but they've got a real shot at getting the number 1 seed in the conference. It doesn't make sense to hand over the reins to an inexperienced quarterback when you've got a 5-year starter in Jameis Winston that is sitting on the sidelines chomping at the bit to prove himself. I know a lot of people are highly critical of Jameis Winston, but I like him. If you remove the turnovers, he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Now, I realize that's a big if. He's been a turnover machine for the bulk of his career. But that was under guys like Lovie Smith, Dirk Cutter, Bruce Arians. Lovie Smith is a defensive coach. And this isn't a knock on the other two. They're both offensive guys. But they're not on the same level as Sean Payton. Sean Payton is a master at developing offensive players, specifically quarterbacks, which is exactly what Jameis Winston needs. Plus, with Jameis Winston, the Saints can run a similar offense that they run with Drew Brees. They won't have to adjust or revamp the entire system like they would have to do with Taysom Hill. With Jameis Winston, Sean Payton's playbook is wide open. The Saints' offense for most of the past 2, maybe 3 years with Drew Brees has been dink and dunk. Everything is 10 yards and back. To be honest, it's become predictable most of the time. Now they've got the ability to utilize guys like Emmanuel Sanders deep down the field. Now, I may be in the minority, but I thought Jameis Winston played well against the 49ers on Sunday. Sure, he had a bad red zone possession. He missed Michael Thomas on a couple of passes. That can be fixed with practice. He took a couple of sacks holding on to the ball too long in the pocket. Nearly threw an interception late in the 4th quarter. I mean, he had some mistakes, but these mistakes are fixable. The guy put 10 points on the board. He won the game for New Orleans. He held the game for New Orleans. People have got to realize that he was pushed into that game at a moment's notice. He's the 3rd quarterback on the depth chart. He likely hasn't practiced with the first team all season long. The Saints are in win-now mode. And with that being the case, I don't see how Sean Payton can elect to go with Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston at this point, even though Sean Payton is probably dying to do just that. If he decides to go with Jameis Winston as his starter while Drew Brees is out, that doesn't mean that Jameis Winston is going to be the starter going into next season. I am damn near certain that Sean Payton is going to give Taysom Hill his opportunity next year, no matter how well Jameis Winston plays this year. Now, that could obviously change. I mean, if Jameis Winston plays at an elite level, Sean Payton might change his mind. But you got to remember, Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0 last year, and that wasn't enough to keep him around. I mean, they're not paying Taysom Hill $16 million a year to be a gadget player. Sean Payton gave him that money because he feels like he is the successor to Drew Brees. Like I said earlier, I think the Brees injury is going to be a blessing in disguise for the Saints. Even if he's cleared to return, say in 2 weeks, I hope they hold him out longer. And that's going to be difficult, I know, because Drew Brees is going to be pushing to play once he's medically cleared. But I hope Sean Payton will protect him from himself. The Saints need Drew Brees healthy and rested for the playoffs, not the regular season. It wouldn't bother me if they held him out until Christmas against Minnesota, as long as they're winning throughout that time span. All right, that's all for today. Hit that like and subscribe button. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Leave me a comment in the section below. Is the injury to Drew Brees, is that the end of his career? Do you agree with Stephen A. Smith? Also, who should be the starter in New Orleans while Brees is out? Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill? Let me know your thoughts. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you have any questions, a topic you'd like me to discuss, you can email me at BTLKC84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys next time.